Hey Harmonizers, it's time for an Aoife update. This is little Aoife eating her grain in the crosstie area. So she's starting to look a lot more like a domestic horse. I'm going to show you guys some of the things that she's working on. And this is her literally beside another horse in the crosstie area, which can seem like a simple task, but is pretty huge for a horse that was formerly wild because it can be overwhelming to have all that stuff around you. Like there's blankets behind her there. There's a horse beside her, which means there's somebody else that's grooming that other horse and being around. So it just means trusting being around humans a lot more and being in that space. You can see that she's not tied. I just have the 22-foot rope attached to her, so I'm able to guide her as needed, and she just gets to eat her dinner because for me it's all about positive association. So even though I'm grooming her and spending some time with her, I just want her to really enjoy being brought in and being in this space. So having dinner with me is an opportunity to bond a little bit with her and just make sure everything feels really good. So I'm brushing her, which is also kind of a new thing, actually using grooming tools. Because obviously I've done a lot of touching and petting, but I hadn't been getting all the brushes out and working that, and which is getting her used to different tools being around her. So when it gets time for the vet and for the farrier, it won't be super unusual to see that there's a brush coming around. And you can see that as I'm brushing her, like there she brought her head up for a moment, just kind of being aware, but you can see she's not tied. The rope is just there, and overall she's still just eating her snacks. And as I'm brushing her leg there, she's like, do you want me to pick my leg up? And kind of moves it a little bit. But overall, she's standing really nicely, and you can see she's just kind of calm about the whole process. For me, this has been a huge thing when I'm training horses in general, is I'm always looking for my horses to be calm and connected to me. That's a big thing that I say all the time. We have calm connection exercises with harmony horsemanship, where it's all about just getting that horse relaxed and focused on you in your presence. So that way they're ready to learn and ready to receive new information. Because if you try to train a horse when they're stressed or feeling anxious about something, then it typically does not go very well, because when you are emotional or not of the right energy mindset, you just don't learn and hold on to that information as well. So you can see here I did the brushing both sides, and now I'm kind of focusing on her mane. So if you've been following along, you know she's got some dreadlocks. Surprisingly not super awful dreadlocks, like not as much as you might think that I've seen in some of my other Mustangs, but she's definitely got some dreadlocks. So I was like, okay, we really need to work on this and get a lot of these dreadlocks out. And finally I'm getting to it, got the brush there. You might be thinking, Lindsay, you've had this Mustang a long time. Why are you only just doing this now? And for me, my videos are not posted right as I do them. There's a little bit of a delay and a lag. I can't remember how long ago this was that I made this progress. I can't remember if it was like a couple weeks or a few weeks, but it's not as long as you might think. And part of that's just because I get so busy with all the other stuff going on in my life that I don't have time to get the videos up right as I do them, or I've got something else on my mind, or I got excited about Bunny having her baby, so I wanted to post those videos before posting this video. So it's not always accurate on the timeline type of thing. And then here, you could see I asked her to back up, and it was a little bit bracy because she's got all that stuff behind her, so it wasn't as smooth as when she backs up just in general when she's with me. But overall, just being able to kind of block her, and now I'm just brushing out all of that main area. It's going really, really well. And I decided to kind of keep some more of this footage in here so you could see that even when she was done her dinner, she is still standing there, not tied. I'm pretty careful about when I choose when to tie horses. I want to make sure that they're really well practiced on feeling pressure to the halter, that they're not going to panic about that. And I also want to make sure that they're comfortable in the space that I'm asking them to be tied. So because being in this cross tie area, which is between these two wooden rails, and with the blankets behind her and other people in the area grooming other horses, if she's overwhelmed, I'd rather her be able to move and then just bring her back in. It's not the end of the world. rather than trap her between the cross ties, she gets upset and then she breaks something because she's trying to get away. I'd rather it just be a lot calmer and experienced. And of course, we started it with her dinner. And then she's like, okay, I'm done my dinner. And like, this is a lot of brushing. Can I leave? And I'm like, no, like, we need to learn to stay and be pampered and brushed and get you all pretty and dolled up. So I'm able to stop her and back her up, which is great. And it's totally normal that they have those moments where they feel like they have to, they want to try, like, can I leave now? Can I go back to the grass? Can I go do something a little different? And so they learn a little bit of patience in the process, but I am reasonable about what I ask of my horses. So I'm not going from no time in the cross ties to stand here for an hour while I fuss over you. That would be a whole lot. I think this whole session was somewhere around the 10-minute mark. There's a couple little pieces that I cut out just so it's not, as long, but overall I left most of this footage in here, and you can see that the whole video is no more than like 8 minutes long. So the whole thing's not a super long session, and that's just an important thing to point out, because when we're working with horses, or even if you're working with a human, if it's a child, which horses' brains are often said to be very similar to a young child in terms of their attention span, their ability to learn, all of those pieces. And if you were to take, a horse or a young child and try to make them learn a task or tolerate a task for an hour, and you haven't built up that tolerance level, of course they're going to throw a tantrum or get upset, like get overwhelmed, and have a big, strong reaction, because it's just something that they're not used to doing. It's asking a lot of them. So you have to build up that trust. So as you can see, I just took off her neck tag, gave a little smile for the camera there, because she does have a name, and it's Aoife, and we know that. And this is what her mane looks like after it's all dolled up. And I tried to get some video footage in the sunlight there so you could see how breezy it is now and how smooth. It's looking very classy. She's got a gorgeous mane on her. One of probably the best manes that I've seen on the Mustangs. Like, it's actually full and there's no like weird thin spots. And then while I was stopping to take a picture, she's like, what is this rope attached to me dragging on the ground? I'm like, oh boy, Aoife, we will work on this another day. But let me know what you think of Miss Aoife, and thank you guys for watching.
Remember to subscribe and check out harmonyhorsemanship.com for even more learning.